Hi folks, it's Mike Quast with TheRealParents. I'm sitting here with Carla Hugo this afternoon, a beautiful, beautiful day. And Carla is the founder of GetCoached.com. She's got a wonderful background and we're very excited to have her here with us today. Carla, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what we're going to hit on today.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mike. Thanks, Andy, for having me here today. I am an integrated lifestyle coach, and I received my training many years ago, about 15 years ago, from Coach University, which was one of the premier coach training institutes at the time, and still. And I've expanded my training to include some of the areas in my life that I am so passionate about. So for me personally, I'm always looking to reach that next highest level of being my best self, and then bringing that to others so they can have a similar experience. So some of the other areas that I'm trained in, one is emotional freedom techniques, and that's a form of energy healing. Are you familiar with that, Mike?
Do have a little bit of background in the EFT, it might be known, or
yes,
tapping, right?
EFT, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one tool. I'm also certified as a screen-free parenting leader. Gee,
you're preaching to the choir here.
Why did I go buy that book, Screen-Free Parenting? Because it resonated with me, and I wanted to improve, and my husband wanted to improve. And in reading the book, I found out, I reached out to the organization, and there was an opportunity to become certified. So I'm certified as a screen-free parenting coach. Okay. And I'm also a holistic health coach, and have been trained at Integrative Nutrition in New York.
Oh, that's so important. I know that there's such a movement towards the holistic approach to not only personal health, but also families, and really not looking for just Band-Aids, but looking for a holistic cure, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word, but to a lot of the issues in our lives.
Yes.
So that's exciting. Again, I'm really excited to be here with Carla today, and the subject of today's show is going to be centering more around the parenting aspect of things. We are the real parents, and Carla, as she mentioned, is a certified screen-free parenting expert, and we're going to talk about maybe some tools and some techniques and some philosophies today that really, even if our audience just gets one little tidbit of information that can create a more harmonious home, I think it'll be a home run. So where do you think we should start? Like, let's say I'm Joe Smith and I'm up to my ears with, the family, the kids are driving me crazy, work's driving me crazy, there's a lot of issues surrounding, and I don't feel like I'm being the parent that I should. Maybe I'm taking it out on my kids, maybe I'm taking out my stress and other issues on my spouse. What would be a good starting point for me?
Okay, that's great. Great scenario. So what I would recommend is that you first take a look at what you don't want. So as much as I'm a positive person, I always want to focus on achieving the wants, we really need to, I use a metaphor of cleaning out the closet. So if you go out to shop for new clothing, it's a new season, you're getting new clothes, and then you open the closet door and it's jam-packed, and there's no room for the new and good. So we need to clean out the closet. So cleaning out the closet metaphorically, when it comes to parenting, is to identify what you don't want. I don't want to just feel that surge, feel my blood start to boil, however it manifests physically in you. I don't want to feel that anymore.
I usually feel it like right here, and then it goes up to my jaw.
And then it comes out your mouth, does it?
From time to time.
Right. And so these would be things to jot down on a list. Other people might just shut down and turn away and say, kind of like, I'm out of here. And the parent might leave the room thinking, well, this is better than screaming at my child. But it often sends the same message to the child. So
it's funny, not to interrupt you, but I feel some of those similar symptoms in a lot of different scenarios. Sometimes I'll get that boil rage, I don't want to say rage, and other times it's not, you just kind of disseminate yourself from the situation. It's like, it's easier to just go downstairs and put the game on or go on the internet or go out in the backyard than have to actually deal with the situation.
Right, so you want to be able to deal with it in a calm and confident manner. So this list of don't wants could include also what you don't want your kids to be doing. You don't want them whining, you don't want them begging, you don't want them fighting with one another. So really create that list of about you and about the kids, we know, and we only have a few minutes today, we can't control them, okay? But I still want you to identify what it is that you don't want to experience as a first step.
Okay, so it's important to actually categorize them or write them down so you can visually identify them. I think we all innately know what we don't want, you know, the whining, the hanging on you, the begging for this, that, and the other thing. But to actually identify them where you can say, oh, okay, there's 4 or 5 things that we don't want. So just to reiterate, it's what you don't want from your kids, but it's also what you don't want as a parent.
From yourself, and that's a really important point to emphasize. So you want to pay attention to you. This is where you have the control. So you can't control them. So if you know that you don't want to raise your voice, and you don't want to feel your blood boil, and you don't want to slam the door and leave the room, and make threats that you can't follow through with, things like that, all those things you want to identify.
Okay. Okay, so now Joe Smith, Joe Smith, has identified what he doesn't want, whether it's, you know, him as a parent or the family dynamic, what he doesn't want from his kids as far as behavior. What would be the next step? Now we've identified things. Where do we go from here?
Okay, so where our focus goes, our energy flows. So I'm looking at this as a way of, we've figured out what we don't want. Now we've cleaned out the closet, kind of. We haven't really made any real changes except for identifying, but identifying is an important step. Now you want to find out, well, what do I want?
Okay.
Okay? So the list of wants is the next step. So what you want for yourself. So what would be some things that you would want for yourself as a parent?
I really want to be able to deal with situations, like you said, calmly and confidently. And I feel out of control a lot of times when I'm parenting. Because we are outmatched or outmanned as far as numbers in our house. You know, Sandy and I put up a great front, but we do have 3 bouncing children that are age, you know, at this point they're 8, 6, and 4, and growing every day, obviously. So to be able to deal with things confidently and in a manner that doesn't exasperate our kids either, though, because that's important to me, to be able to help them understand the discipline and understand that it's a constructive thing, rather than just parents domineering over them. So suggestions as to where we could go to, you know, put that situation in play?
Something that I really recommend is identifying consequences in advance. So when your child, you know, is hanging on your leg as you're walking across the room and, you know, refuses to get on the bus or whatever the situation is, instead of in the moment saying something that you may regret, and saying something also that you can't follow through, threaten to take away, you know, television for the next month or something like that.
6 weeks from now.
Yes.
Right.
So plan your consequences when you're calm and confident. So you know the general offenses that the children do and what's meaningful to them. So I still have one that, you know, leaves her nightlight on every day. And actually today I'm going to, you know, she knows she has to pay 50 cents every time she leaves it on. However,
it's got it easy. It's only a quarter for us.
But I'm going to put that jar in a prominent place for her because I've been slacking off. And instead of me using my mouth and saying, you know, why haven't you owe the electric bill and the earth, it's just, you know, rattle the jar, put it down. The consequence is you have to do it. So you don't have to come up with a frustrated response to what the situation is.
Right, that you try to put out the fire in that immediate, and it's whatever comes off the top of your head. And I know that's the way that I act a lot of times, just because with so many other things going on in life, then you're in that situation, you're like, okay, just react to it. And pre-planning, I think, is a fantastic tip.
Yes.
Not only identifying, as we had talked about earlier, what I don't want me to do and what I don't want the kids to do, but then tying in the consequences. And making the kids aware of them ahead of time, right? So it's like almost a contract with the kids, and these are going to be the results of your behavior.
And let the consequence suit the offense, so to speak. So, you know, if the bicycle is left out in the driveway and they don't put it away, maybe no amount of yelling and screaming is going to get them to put it away, but maybe that does mean that you put it away next weekend they can't use the bicycle. So that might be something practical.